So I remembered, well, I was looking about how I was going to start working on this edge here. And I realized how high the intercooler sits and the bracing of the engine bay. And I started to realize that I was building my back here very flat. And I remember the old piece having quite an arch to it. In fact, I remember quite a bit of work I did to get the arch in it right where I needed it by making that long turnbuckle so that I could pull the fenders in and flex the back the way I needed it to. And so I realized I was building mine very flat, and so I needed to address that some. So what I did was I decided that this piece that I needed to bring back here, I would just cut off of the old one and bond on. And as you can see, I was going very flat, and it had quite a bit of curve going up that way. So I can rock it a little bit, but not a lot, because then my gap gets off right here because I had worked it so that this gap was perfect. So I think what I'm going to do is get some epoxy out and some glass and try to bond this piece onto this piece right here, and then that'll give me a guideline right here that I can work with to blend here and then blend down this way and I could even cut this piece off of the other one if I need to try and make sure I get this right here. But if I get it right here, I can work it down to where I want it right there, because it's got to meet the door. So this should give me a good place to start. So I didn't have a lot of time. It's just a weekday afternoon, but I thought that if I could get this in here cut and trimmed and get an idea of what my angle looks like, you know, give me something to chew on. And now I can go ahead and bond this and let this cure for a couple of days, so that when I get back out on the weekend, hopefully this will be dry and I can start matching here. Maybe even one evening I'll be able to get out and maybe put some plaster or body filler here and start to match and taper this. I'm able to get much good video today because my phone's been inside. It's upgrade day, so back up and restore and whatnot. But this is where I bonded on the piece from the deck lid. I think that was the last video, was I bonded that on. That's where I combined the two pieces of the deck lid. Right here is where I bonded it on. Then I came back with some of the gypsum, or the sheetrock, and built up the bulk of it. Let that dry for 4 days with a box fan blowing on it. And then I came back and skimmed it with some body filler and smoothed it out. So I kind of got that about where I want it. And so now I'm working on the windshield, or the window. So what I've got is I got this bulb seal. Let's see if I can get out of the sun where I can get a little better look at it. This is bulb seal that I picked up off of Amazon, and it's got a C-channel so that it's made to clip on to a lip. And so what I did was I took a piece of aluminum flat bar like this, and I bent it to the curvature of the window, and then I slipped the bulb seal onto it and held it in place, and I used just some clamps to kind of clamp it at the top and the bottom. And I drilled a hole through the body and the plate, and now I've got it bolted in there, and you can see I've got some play in it. I basically what I've got to do now is I've got to pull it out and put some spacers in there to get it tight, and then I'll be able to bond that piece of metal onto here, and that'll give me the lip that the bulb seal needs to mount to. I'll actually have to make a flange. This flare is really bad. I'll have to make a flange further up whenever I make the top, so that the top can seal down. But I'm thinking I'll actually put that on the top so that when you pull the top off, you don't see a rubber seal sitting here. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm fixing to pull this off and put some shims behind here to hold this metal piece tight and square, and then I'm going to bond it on. I'm going to scuff it up and bond it on with some fiberglass to this piece, and then I'll actually was a lot less work than I thought it was going to be. My original plan was actually to, in fact I did take and glued a bunch of foam back here and then glassed it in, and I was going to start sanding away to form a channel, and then I realized that was stupid, that this bonding a piece of flat bar in would be way easier for this tight bulb seal I've got, so I ground all that out and started over. So that's kind of where I'm at. Going to get those spacers in and put some fiberglass on this, and it'll cure overnight, and then I don't know if I have any more time this weekend or not, but we'll see if I can get out here and maybe try to finish it out a little bit. Oh, I got the aluminum flat bar in nice and securely. What I did was, I had the shims and the bolts in each end, so I took Duraglass and I packed the center section until it actually ran out the other side, and then that way it was stable and wouldn't rock. And then I pulled the bolt and shims out, and I glassed the whole thing in, so it's very sturdy. It doesn't rock. It's not going to come off on me, and I'll be able to put my weather stripping on it. And you can see I actually overflowed it with the Duraglass. I've got to take the Duraglass and sand it back smooth, and then I'll have, and I got to trim the fiberglass back. Then I'll have a nice lip right there. I can put the weather strip up against, and or I can put the weather strip around and let the glass push up against it. So, I mean, this piece is certainly not finished, but I think I'm ready to move to the other side, because what I need to do is get this back on and then get the other side done, and then I can make the top and the back that connect them. And then once I've got them connected, then I can worry about trying to clean up the inside edge. I don't want to bother doing a lot of work on this if I realize I've got to modify it significantly to make it flow around. So I'm really at the point where I think I'm ready to move on to the top and the back on this side, but I've got to get the other side ready for that. So probably the next video will be putting the passenger's window in. I didn't want to put it in until I had gotten this one fit up well enough that I knew that I could duplicate this one to that side. So that'll probably be either the next video or the one after. What I think I need to do is close up this hole where I've got a lot of excess. That way I can make a good template for the other side, and I don't have so much trial and error. So another short video this week, but unless y'all want to see a time lapse of fiberglass curing, there's just not a whole lot to show. That takes up a lot of time, and it's really slowing down the progress on the build. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you have any comments or advice on how I might be able to do this better. I actually did get an email or a private message on the forum, and then an email with some advice on a method that might be a lot better than what I'm doing here. And so I will be trying that method out on the passenger side to see if it's a lot easier and a lot less mess. So we'll talk about that when I get there. Thanks, guys.